everybody. This is Kay. Welcome to Unbreakable. Today, our topic is depression. And I just want to put a trigger warning out there because we are going to touch on some pretty deep topics. And we don't want to hurt anybody. So listen with caution. So, Elle, what is the description of depression?
Hi, everybody. It's Elle. So the description for depression that I thought fit the best was a depression is a mood disorder that causes persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest. Also called major depression disorder or clinical depression. Don't get scared. It affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can usually lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems.
That's a pretty good description.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
But again, do not freak out if this is your first time. There's still help. So as we proceed, just listen on.
So for me, I did have depression growing up.
What was your first experience? Let's go there.
So my first experience that I remember is standing at the top of the stairs. My mom was at the bottom of the stairs. She was leaving the house. I was crying and I was screaming. I wish I was never born. I never asked to be born.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And thank you. And I spent a lot of time as a child in my room. I was not happy very often.
Mm-hmm.
So there was something going on there. And I thought it was basically my upbringing. I had a really rough upbringing, but when I got older and I started getting sick and my life completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
From I moved to Florida to have this great life, and I get down here and I'm happy and I'm getting fit and we're going to the beach and we have this really cute house near the ocean and everything's fabulous. And then I get sick and everything changes. So there was a while before I went to see a doctor where we were just drinking a lot. I was dealing with my depression, I guess self-medicating, and just trying to get through the days that way, which was really bad because, I was getting sick and it wasn't helping, and becoming more and more depressed, starting to feel like, it would be better if I was just not around.
Mm-hmm.
As I got closer to my diagnosis, I was trying to manage my depression in my own way. I did volunteer for hospice and started doing that and realizing that for me, doing something outside of myself always kind of helps me when I'm feeling really low. If I can just get outside of myself and think of somebody else and do something for them and see that their life is just as hard, that kind of helped me. But then I got to the point where I didn't even want to do that. And I got really, really sick. I found out what it was. And I thought of the burden that I was putting on my family. I thought of how my life was just going to be about doctor's appointments, and I was thinking in the most bleak way. I didn't think anything would be great ever again. All my dreams were shattered. I was going to school and I was almost finished. I was going to work as an occupational therapist at the time. Couldn't do that. So a lot of things were just caving in, and I really felt like my family would be better off without me. And it really hurt in such a deep spiritual way. My soul hurt. And I so badly just wanted to disappear, thinking that they would get over it and in the end they would have a better life.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believed it. And I remember feeling like I was just buried in a hole, like that, like symbolically, that's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't
That
climb
black
out.
hole that nobody can describe. Exactly.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so my doctor had given me a bunch of pills to manage my lupus and the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had some, narcotic opiate pills.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Thank
took,
you for not saying the name.
right. And I took a handful, and it should have done the job. I don't know how it didn't.
You were meant to be here, sweetheart.
I guess so. I woke up, and at first I was kind of pissed, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then my husband was just beside himself. He had so much hurt and sorrow, and the fact that I would leave him, and he's like, you have no idea what that would do to me. You have no idea. And, everybody says like it's selfish to do this, but really, like, I was feeling like I was doing the right thing for other people.
And that's what suicide really is in the mind of the person doing the suicide, which is what nobody talked about.
Mm-hmm. And
it
totally made sense to me. I mean, it honestly made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was already formulating my next plan, which I won't share because I don't want to give people, an idea.
No, absolutely not.
But I did come up with another plan, and I was going to do it. And then I just realized, I was thinking how spontaneous that situation was.
Mm-hmm.
And how obviously I didn't have control over it like I thought I did. How if my brain is tricking me in that way, maybe I am wrong.
Yeah.
And I decided, okay, fine, I'll go talk to somebody. Because, if you're going to kill yourself,
that's the worst thing you can do. Talk to somebody?
Like, right. You might as well. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? But I did put it off because I was so afraid that if I told them the truth, they were going to lock me up or, put me on all these zombie medications, that kind of thing. But I was so devastated and not a part of my family and very much a burden, I thought. I didn't want to do any of the things I normally did. I was weepy all the time. And, I'm just introverted in myself, not contributing. So I did go to the doctor to get help. Which is
glad you're there.
Which is why I'm still here.
Absolutely, I'm so glad.
What about you?
Oh God,
I know.
Start with you. What's therapy? You want me to start with the suicide part? Okay, so I'm gonna go with the suicide part. So, my depression got that bad. I was married, which you wouldn't think that would happen when you're married because you're happily married, but unfortunately, I wasn't. I got to a point where I just couldn't handle it anymore. All the responsibility, the stress, everything. I just couldn't do it anymore. Her husband, who nothing I could do was good enough. My past, my growing up and everything added to that. I just got to a point one day where I just took a bunch of my medication that I knew I shouldn't, and I just took a handful of each. And for some reason, I woke up in an emergency room. My husband at that point said he was really pissed off that I was so self-centered And it was up to me whether I wanted to be locked up or he would get me out of the emergency room.
Wow.
So at that point, I was in the mind frame already that I don't want to embarrass my husband or his family. So here we go. And we left. And it wasn't much long after that, though, that I started talking to my PCP about my, different things I was dealing with. And next thing I knew, I'm looking for a therapist. And, that was not the first time that happened for me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God I did, because it helped me grow even more than I had before and helped me make the decisions that I had to make, leaving an abusive husband, XYZ. So therapy and psychiatry to me is literally life-saving.
Mm-hmm.
It literally is. You take different aspects of your life and compile them together, and after so long, there's only so much you can handle as one individual. You need to have someone to talk to about it to help you know how to handle all of it.
Especially if you are somebody who has a chronic illness already, because your trauma is a direct
connected.
Yeah, and it can cause you to be sicker if you have underlying issues that are causing stress and anxiety and depression. And so it's good to handle the mind, body, and the spirit.
Absolutely. Don't neglect it. I promise you, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I did it. I've done it many, many times. It is not worth it.
Well, when I first,
you have to give it doesn't matter. Anyway, yes, please go.
When I first went to my PCP and I said, this is what's going on. I'm embarrassed to tell you this, and she said, oh, please don't be embarrassed. You have lupus, chronic depression. It pretty much goes hand in hand with any chronic condition. Most people struggle with it at some point.
And amen to that.
Yeah. And so that made me feel a little bit better. And she said, you need to go talk to this person. And it took me months, but I finally did. And I remember my stomach was in knots and I had butterflies in my chest. And I felt so stupid walking in there. I just did not want to be there. And
did you feel like you were the only sane one in the bunch, or was it just that you just didn't feel right there?
I felt like I was walking into a wolf's den or something. I just felt like it was not going to be a good situation,
Oh, yeah.
So I walk into his office and he was the kindest. Well, let me tell you, the first thing he did is he said to me, I am, you and I are a team. I want to do anything I can to help you. We're going to work together and we're going to make you feel better. And he was so his eyes were so kind. He looked right into my eyes. He was so sincere. And that's immediately I was like, okay, I like this guy. He's great, and I mean, he helped me that first visit. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, what took me so long to get here? Seriously, why did I wait so long? And I'm telling everybody who's listening, listen, I'm telling you now, if you're struggling with any of this and you're worried about going, just please
bite the bullet, please, please, please.
I feel so much different now. I am not the person I was then. I haven't even gotten close to that person. That black hole is somewhere in the distance.
It's a Neptune right now, as far as
nowhere near me. Nothing I fear. I don't fear it anymore. Really, just please do it. You will be amazed at how much better your life can get.
The weight that is lifted off once you have a appropriate therapist, psychiatrist, depending on the person, the weight that is lifted off of you, you're not going to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes time, it takes dedication, especially from your side. But I'm serious, if you put forth it, you're going to be amazed at the techniques and the ways they're able to help you to deal with the depression and all of your life experiences and stuff. They are truly amazing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I really truly believe that my psychiatrist helped me more than any of my other doctors. And
I'm the same way. Yep.
I started this journey because of my chronic illness. But a lot of it is tied to mental illness as well. And we have to acknowledge that our entire body, our mind, our spirit, our body, all of it needs to be treated. We have to be treated. Yeah. So
And
please go.
And just because you may have mental illness, that doesn't make you a black sheep. That doesn't make you an outcast. That doesn't make you an outsider, whatever you want to use for that. It doesn't.
Exactly. No.
It's getting the treatment, getting help, applying it to your life. No one will notice unless you let them super close and you open yourself up to them. That's what a good psychiatrist and therapist does, is help you to adapt and to deal with what has happened to you in your life.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
If you were diabetic, you would take shots of insulin. So,
exactly. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's a medical issue, and you just need to deal with it. That's all. And when you do, you will feel so much better.
I promise you. You find the right one, you will feel so much better if you apply yourself. I've done it so many times with wrong and right. I can promise you, when you find the right, you're right. If you apply yourself 100%, you will be amazed. You will be amazed.
So, Elle.
Yes?
What is the question of the week this week?
Oh, the question of the week this week is very good and kind of ties in with what we're talking about today a little bit. But do you find it difficult to have to trust others because of your chronic illness? I can definitely say yes to that one.
Yeah?
Yes, I can. What about you?
Well, elaborate. Please tell us.
Well, when you have chronic illness, it's considered a lot of times invisible.
Right.
So unless you have true friends, true family, whatever your acquaintances, whatever, who are really paying attention and want to understand, the rest of the world is pretty much going to be, it's fake news for the most part. You're bullshit, you were fine yesterday, but today now you're lying for some reason. You're saying that you have this issue, but yesterday you could climb a freaking mountain.
Right. Yeah.
So that's been my experience with that, is it's really hard to trust people because at first they're like, oh, that's, I get that. It's really cool. But, as the time goes on, they start, it's fake, it's bullshit, whatever, because they don't understand that it goes in swings, it goes in cycles, it goes in spoons, however you want to put it.
Yeah, exactly. I've had the same issue with people not believing.
Mm-hmm.
They think I'm using it as an excuse, or, that I'm flaky because they can't depend on me.
Because that's the one excuse you want to use.
Yeah. Yeah. And, they'll be like, you weren't sick yesterday, but now you're too sick, or, like canceling on people is the big thing. And they start to not believe you, and they start to make you feel like you're just somebody who doesn't care about them. And I think that's the worst. And then they start treating you different, and you can't trust the situation. You can't trust them under those circumstances. So, yeah.
Because they don't trust you. So It has to be both ways.
Right.
If it's a true friend, they're going to believe you. They're going to trust you. They're going to seek you out.
Exactly.
And support you. But if it's somebody else who's just like, well, you're just constantly canceling on us because for whatever reason, well, it kind of makes it clear to you at some point they don't care or they don't care to get it, one or the other.
Exactly. So, yes, it is hard to trust. The answer would be yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you guys know that we're on social media. We have a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can find all the links in the description here, as well as some extra resources to get some help if you have suicidal thoughts, if you have depression, if you're looking for someone to talk to help get you connected with someone locally. And again, we're on Facebook. If you want to talk to us privately, send us a message. We're happy to help
where
you
we
out.
can.
Yeah, exactly. So don't be afraid to open up, and those resources will be there for you as well.
Absolutely.
And what is the topic of next week?
Oh, crap. I got to do that this week? Okay. So the topic for next week will be quite interesting, actually. I'm looking forward to talking about this. How do you handle romantic relationships when you are chronically ill?
Well, that is going to be a fun topic.
I think we're going to enlighten a lot of people on that one.
Well, yeah, because it can pertain to relationships that are already together. It can pertain to dating.
It's like, oh, that's why I haven't been late in 25 years. Got it.
It's going to be a fun one. And guys, you can leave your questions too.
Please do. Anybody.
Yeah,
please.
we love it. We would really love your questions. But if you want to add some questions or comments on anything we've already done or questions for next week's topic on relationships, join in on the fun. This is for you.
Absolutely.
So we want you to have a lot of fun here.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're facing your questions, if you have a question for me or Kay, feel free to specifically ask. I mean, if it's random to you, we don't care. Feel free to ask them. We want to be here to help you in any way, shape, or form. If you're a teenager and you feel like, well, you guys are older than me, what the fuck do you know? Guess what? We can help.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
There we go.
And if we can't help, we know people who can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So, as always, remember you are not alone.
So we have this wonderful quote this week, which absolutely goes with what you just said, that you're not alone. It is from Winnie the Pooh. It is about Eeyore, who is many people's favorite, and we all know that he is quite depressed. The quote says, "One awesome thing about Eeyore is that even though he is basically clinically depressed, he still gets invited to participate in adventures and shenanigans with all of his friends. They never expect him to pretend to feel happy. They never leave him behind or ask him to change. They just show him love."
And that's what you need to do. Love is always the answer. Kindness and understanding is always the answer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself.
So just remember Eeyore, our champion.
And on that note, I hope everybody stays safe, stay inside.
As hard as it may be, I promise you, just stay inside, the better it is. The more we stay inside, the better it is.
That's right.
So, I know as hard as it is, just remember that you are not alone.
So stay safe, Spoonies.
Yes,
See ya.
See you later.